Hi there folks, my name's NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday the 29th of September for another episode, and we're going to jump straight into it this week with some ESP scenery releases. Starting off this week with the guys over from EFSDG. So they've released their latest in their light range of content, this time modeling Nvidia Hamad International Airport in Tunisia. So the FSDG, for those who don't know, the FSDG light range is kind of does what it says on the tin. It's pretty basic. It's usually just the airport, so it's not like the surrounding areas, surrounding towns and whatever that we might be used to in some of the grander sceneries. However, they often go off the beaten track, so they're often doing airports that are a little bit removed and sort of otherwise sort of forgotten about by many in the flight simulation developer community, including often the default sim. So so this range is always, it's a very affordable range, and it strives to give you excellent quality for a low price point and somewhere different to travel. And of course, this is no exception. So this rendition of the airport is as it appears at the start of 2019. Highly detailed rendition, including all buildings have been modelled, including custom SODE jetways and fully GSX compatible for all the terminal areas, custom ground polygon, custom ramp textures and terminal modelling, as well as custom lighting as well. And one of the great things that I always love about FSDG is that they are fully compatible with all of the ESP platforms, so FSX and above, all the way up to and including prepared v4. So looking kind of cool, kind of impressive for this one, and coming in at a really good price point. As I said, the price is great, coming in at $10. Now, as I said, for this one, if you are in the European Union, you can pick this one direct from FSDG's web store. If not, then you are looking at picking up from your favorite flight sim retailer, available now. Continuing on with other scenery releases this time, and actually, unfortunately, that was pretty much the only release that is outside of the prepared v4 world at the moment. So we're moving now into the release this week from PK Simulations, their rendition of El Dorado International Airport, which of course is the main international airport that services Bogota in Colombia. So they sort of hinted at this one back in, I want to say back in June, July, I think, that they sort of hinted that there was sort of, gave some screenshots and said they were developing it. But it's great to actually see it actually finally come to fruition. So this one's come out now. As I said, this is the airport so this is the airport as it appears again during the start of 2019, and it's their claim is it's their biggest and most complex airport from this developer thus far. Now, as I said, this fully rendition of the airport, including all terminal buildings, full implementation of SODE jetways and SODE supported windsocks, includes the main regional terminals as well as international and freight terminals. Also includes a working clock on the regional terminal building, which is kind of cool. I've never actually seen a working clock in the Sims prior to this, so that's kind of cool. Includes full set of custom ground textures for the airport and surrounding areas, including reflections and specular mapping as well. High resolution 2K textures throughout the airport and throughout all the textures and all the airport buildings. A airport configurator to allow you to sort of add and remove features to make your simulation experience better as well. Some static aircraft are included for various Colombian airlines, and also, of course, fully compatible with GSX as well. So this one's coming in, available now from Sim Market, coming in at $26 or your regional equivalent, available now. Continuing on with another scenery release, the guys over at Just Sim have rebooted their rendition of Larnaca International Airport, which is the international airport in Larnaca in Cyprus. It's the main international airport for Cyprus, and the largest of the two commercial airports on the island. This is the it's got an interesting history, this airport, because it was developed at the end of 1974 after the invasion of Cyprus by Turkey, which is, funny enough, the only time that the NATO countries have actually gone to war with each other. I think since the Second World War. But anyway, side note of that one. Otherwise, Cyprus is a major tourist destination, so of course this is a major gateway for tourists coming in. Now, this is, as I said, is a reboot. This is a re-release. So they released this one about a year or so ago for the other ESP platforms. So Prepared, so FSX, FSX Steam, and Prepared 1 through 4, the original version 4. This one is a reboot exclusively for 4.4 and above, as it does now include PBR materials. So now they have actually done a little bit of updating as well. They've updated to it as it appears now during the start of 2019. They've added some additional autogen objects, some additional animations, including SODE or WinSox have been included as well. Visual docking guidance system has been put in here and brought in line with being able to use SOD and GSX technologies. Some dynamic lighting has been updated, and again, all 3D models are now using PBR materials. So pretty, so there is a bit of an update for this one. So this now means that it is exclusively for prepared v4.4 and above. Now, in terms of price one, so if you are a new customer for this one, you're looking at paying about $21 US or original equivalent. If, however, you are updating from, if you are a previous owner of the previous rendition of this one, then you can get this one for about $7 to $10 is about your upgrade price. Just check with your online retailer to be able to check your upgrade process. So this one's available now. Continuing on with another prepared V4 exclusive release, the guys of WF Scenery Studios, a little Chinese developer, have continued their releases of some Chinese airports, continuing this week with Shenzhen Baoan International Airport, which is in the Shenzhen Guangdao province in China. So now I didn't actually know this, but this is actually one of 3 international airports that service the Pearl River Delta, including Hong Kong. Because I don't it's one of those things for me. Maybe it's just because I'm stuck in the sort of colonial era mindset, but I still always think of Hong Kong as completely separate from China. Like I know there's been some troubles there at the moment along those lines of those issues. But yeah, I still don't even think of it as part of China, so I didn't even make the connection that it is sort of part of that delta with Hong Kong International and Guangzhou Baoan. So yeah. Anyway, otherwise, you can actually actually side note, one of the cool, interesting things about this is that if you have a connecting flight that leaves from Hong Kong International, you can actually transit without crossing technically into China. They actually have a dedicated ferry service, so you don't have to clear customs and get your transfer to Hong Kong International. So kind of weird, kind of cool. Anyway, so this is the airport as it's laid out as it started during 2019. All airport 3D models are included. All buildings have been modeled in 3D. Oh my god, I cannot talk today. It's been a rough day medically wise for me, so I feel like I'm having one of those days. Anyway, moving on. So yes, all major airport buildings are modeled in for this scenery release. Custom terrain textures for the airport and surrounding areas, with a variety of static models, all showing off the variety of Chinese airlines servicing the airport. Also includes PBR texturing for all major for a lot of the objects as well. Variety of custom runway lighting, and also custom autogen custom trees are also included as well. So pretty cool, pretty exciting. There's a fairly detailed, fairly complex scenery from the guys at WF Scenery Studios. Good to see. This one's coming in about $27 US or your regional equivalent, available now from Sim Market. Continuing on with another ESP release, and it's kind of scenery, kind of not scenery. So this comes to us from the developers from SimWorks Studios. So they're of course the most famous for bringing us the Phantom, but they've also been rebooting lately a lot of the way we do carrier ops in the ESP platforms, or rather prepared for V4. And this is the second Nimitz-class pack, or the Nimitz-class series. This is the volume 2 of it. Now this includes 3 high-detailed Nimitz-class carriers, which include the USS Carl Vinson, the Theodore Roosevelt, and the Abraham Lincoln. These are highly detailed models and actually show the visual differences between the earlier class and the newer the later models of the Nimitz class, which is of course what these ships are. And it's very interesting actually sort of seeing the differences, like where the island is, the length of the deck, the layout of the hangars. There's a lot of cool stuff that goes on with that one. There's a lot of custom modeling that goes on here, so there's a lot of animations here, including animated shooters that will actually sort of launch you off the deck while you're actually flying. There will be an AI plane guard, so a lot of it in some ways, a lot of it is what we've seen previously with Javier's wonderful gift to the community that he gave many years ago with his Nimitz carrier. But at the same time, there's a lot of content here. There's a lot of like really cool stuff that goes on here. One of the cool things this time is that they're releasing a new piece of technology here, which they're calling CEX on deck, which is basically you can actually now manipulate the layout of what's on the deck. So you can do it like live in real time. So you can change what the air wing is, like where it's laid out on the deck, how it appears to actually as you change your ops, which is really, really kind of cool. As well as some other animations, as I said, with sort of animated deck crew, animated vehicles on there, and various parts on there, and of course animations for the pitching deck in prepared on the oceans. Now, speaking of, this is, as I said, this is just alluded to. This is an exclusive to Prepared V4 4.5. I don't actually know if it's has PBR or not. I tried to look at that one, but I couldn't actually see it. But it has a lot of other stuff here. There's like a lot of stuff going in here. You've actually got animated arrestor cables, animated catapults with the catapult shuttle as well. So there's a lot of stuff going in here. You've got the AI MH60R plane guard, as I said before. You carry deck extended, and you also got a variety of shore-based iflows to actually be put in there as well, and a lot more technology done with that one. So there's a lot going on in this class. Now, of course, with that of course comes at a bit of a price tag. So it's coming in at $50 or your original equivalent. So this one's available direct from SimWorks Studios or your favorite flight sim retailer available now. Moving out of the ESP platforms, moving into the world of X-Plane with a couple of, again, some more scenery releases this week. So it's this time from the guys over at Logo Projects, their rendition of La Rochelle Airport, which is an international airport located in the city of La Rochelle. Now, La Rochelle for me, every time I hear that city name, all I can think of is there was an old British movie called Sink the Bismarck that was, funnily enough, about the operation to sink the Bismarck battleship during the Second World War. And it's always this one of these things that they talk about the various reconnaissance when they're trying to find the ship, and they're actually sort of looking at it, and of course they mentioned La Rochelle. Anyway, that's a completely useless thing. You probably didn't need to know that, but just a side note. I always think of that when I think of La Rochelle. Anyway, moving on. So this is a highly detailed rendition of the airport, including all airport buildings and airport terminal buildings are included, including also the surrounding areas, including the port of La Rochelle, is actually done in high quality detail as well, which is really impressive to see. You've also got Lot 18 is the ortho photo scenery for the airport and surrounding areas, including full implementation of night effects and PBR lighting are included as well. So lots going on for this rendition of La Rochelle, looking at $25 or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Market. In another Explain 11 scenery release, the guys over at Aerosoft released their edition of Charlottetown for Explain, which is the capital and largest city of the Canadian province of Prince Edward Island. So it's located about, the airport itself is located about 3 miles north of the city centre, and is served by a large number of sort of like the smaller regional operations. So you don't get a lot of the bigger aircraft going through. So this would be more like your sort of your E-jets and your Dash 8s and stuff like that coming through here for most of these ones. So this is a highly detailed rendition of the airport as it appears in 2019, including all buildings done in HD and with high details and custom night textures and specular effects included as well. Full implementation of HDR lighting at and around the airport for the surrounding area, and full implementation of PBR on the ground textures as well. You also get a bit of, you got a lot of ortho photos included for the airport and the nearby industrial area, as well as the custom 3D models for all that area as well. You also get full support for wet ground effects, animated martial art, and animated car traffic, as well as all seasons are supported. So you're not just a summer season, for those of you who do have the Terra Max set up as well. So this one's coming in at $15 or your original equivalent, available now from Aerosoft. And then continuing on with Explain 11 scenery releases, the guys over at Orbix have been very busy porting their content across over to Explain this week, with 4 releases coming over to the Explain 11 platform. So the first 3 that we saw were port overs of their previous ESP platform ESP platform releases and designed to sort of be paired up with the True Earth Washington release recently. So this is the release of Stark's Twin Oaks Air Park, the Orcas Island Airport, and Walter Sutton's Private Strip. So all fairly small airports, all done fairly cool, these ones. My personal favorite is I love Orcas Island. It's one of my favorites to fly out of in the ESP. I really enjoy flying in the Pacific Northwest. I really do. As I'm slowly getting more into X-Plane, I think I might start exploring that part of the world as well. I'm still a bit wary of the sort of True Earth stuff, and I've expressed my concerns in previous episodes, as some users were noted and were disappointed by some of my comments, but I stand by them. But yes, otherwise, these are always a great addition to that part of the world, and as I said, they are some of my favourite places to fly, especially Orcas Island. I absolutely love flying out of there. So what do you get with this one? So you're looking at 15 to 30 centimeter pixel ground imagery, custom terrain mesh, custom airport textures as well as fully modeled buildings for each of the airports and the surrounding areas. Now, each of these airports coming in at 33 Australian dollars, which is around about 23 US dollars, or your original equivalent, available now from Orbix. Oh, and by the way, for those who may have missed it, they are no longer doing their discount if you previously owned the ESP one. In long ago, they used to actually give you a sort of like a discount, so you're purchasing it across platforms. That is no longer in effect. So just so you are aware, you will be paying for it in full again. Alright, and the other airport they released this week, which is, I believe, not available, which is actually not available for Prepared V4 yet, but it is coming. So this is the Leeds Bradford Airport for X-Plane 11. So it's interesting that they're actually leading with the X-Plane 11 platform. And I think that's partially because they are they're definitely, Orbix is definitely going more and more into this whole use of PBR texturing and PBR modeling. And I've noticed that they are doing a lot of X-Plane 11 first before going to Prepared V4. But mainly because PBR, I'm guessing mainly because the PBR is more mature in X-Plane 11 than it is in Prepared. Other than that, it's a 3D modeled runways as well, so you do have the bumps and whatever during the runway with a custom slope runway, which looks kind of cool, especially from the screenshots. And it is a fairly awesome, fairly highly detailed airport. As I said, all major buildings are modelled as it appears during the start of 2019. Full PBR representation of the airport and surrounding areas includes a heliport, which is just a kilometre north of the airport as well. So if you helicopter fans, there is one there as well. HD textures throughout, full implementation of PBR ground polygons with dry, damp, and wet states are included as well, with full ground service equipment and clutter models and realistic road traffic on surrounding areas as well. Detailed terrain are included with 60 centimeter ortho image, and is designed to work with True Earth GB Central, but that is not required. And fully compatible with SAM controlled dynamic marshallers as well. So this one's coming in again at the same price, coming in at about 23 US dollars, or your original equivalent, available now from Orbix. Alright, moving on to a flight sim of a different kind. And Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown saw their newest piece of DLC released this week with the release of Unexpected Visitor. So this is the first in their add-on missions. So my understanding is that this is there is a sort of it's a mini campaign that's sort of built inside of the main campaign, the main story. It's a 3-mission campaign. This is the first mission of the first installment of that one, and goes through an interesting scenario. I found it a lot of fun doing it, actually. I had a lot of fun playing this one. Basically, the mission is ostensibly about a giant Eurasian submarine that's been discovered and is being launched. It's a submarine aircraft carrier. Just throw reality out the window whenever you're dealing with Ace Combat, by the way, folks. Just do that. Anyway, and so that's the ostensibly what's behind it, but actually it's more about 2 villains that you encounter during the mission. And it's sort of, I get the feeling it's going to be about their story, and that's what's going to be coming through. So yeah, kind of cool, kind of interesting. It's a fairly low cost one. Now, if you did purchase the season pass, this is included. If you didn't, you're looking at $5 for this one, available from wherever you play Ace Combat 7, whichever store you play, whether you're on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, available now. Moving on with simulation of a very different kind. It seemed to be the week for doing variety of different football management games or sporting games this week. So we're going to start this week with Axis Football 2019. So Axis Football is an American football simulation one. So something different, kind of cool. American football. I still try to understand it. I'm working to understand it. Not always successful, but I'm trying. Anyway, moving on. So this is a... now, I do want to say that this looks like it is not licensed. So I'm going to start by saying that one because I looked at it and it didn't seem to be licensed. It's one of those things that's basically... it's one of those things that it looks like it is, but it's not quite. It's one of those games that sort of borders on the edge of breaching somebody's copyright, but doesn't quite. Anyway, so it's got a highly detailed setup here going through. So 3D modeling of the actual gameplay. You've also so you can actually sort of control your players in the game, but you also have like the actual the ability to do things like trading draft picks, complete game summaries for every game plays, streamlined player contract system, new stadiums, pre-game coin toss is now included as well, which is kind of cool. And you've got a variety of different game modes, including player versus AI, coach mode, spectator mode, local player versus player, and franchise mode. So, kind of cool, kind of interesting. Not my cup of tea, but if you are into NFL, it could be there. There is a really cool screenshot in there somewhere of the fact that one of the stadiums has a space shuttle behind it. Like, that is just cool. So as I said, it's kind of one of those things. It's not the same. Anyway, moving on. So if you do want to pick this one's available on PC, coming in at $30 or your regional equivalent, available now on Steam. And continuing on with more of the club management, we saw this week the release of Club Soccer Director Pro 2020. Now, this one is a little odd. This is the first time. Okay, so Club Soccer Director has been around for about 4 years, 3-4 years, I think. But this is the first time they've been on PC, and this is. And okay, for those who sort of say that I don't like me preaching about stuff, you know what? You're just gonna have to suck it up for this time. So this seems to be part of a disturbing trend I'm seeing with a lot of with not a lot, but some gaming developers lately. So as I said, so Club Soccer Director Pro has been around for about 4 years, and it's a mobile app, is what it is. It's fairly low cost. I think it's about $10 from the App Store. It's an iOS app. It's been around for years. It's nothing special. It's nothing amazing. It's not bad. It's not probably fantastic either because it's fairly basic in its graphics, but it does the job. Because at the end of the day, you're a club soccer director. You're not so much about the players, though it does include a player mode. And it's got some really cool stats engines behind it. You've got hundreds of clubs. Again, I don't think this is an actually licensed one. So they do have over 800 clubs in 38 leagues in 14 different countries. So really cool that they've got a lot of stuff there. Plus, you also can create your own club, your own so your home country, club, stadium, all the kind of stuff you do yourself. And, your decisions have consequences. You also have, one of the things that is interesting about this one is that it also has things like a medical center and medical, so you actually have to treat injuries and stuff like that, so it's kind of cool. What I have a problem with is the fact that this is the first time they put it onto PC, and they have literally, they've literally tripled the price, so when they put it on PC. And I have a problem with that. There's no difference to it from what I can tell. It is still the exact same game that's on the mobile, in the mobile app. The interface is a mobile app interface. And I'm like, well, why do PC gamers have to pay more for an iOS app? Like, I don't understand. So anyway, if you're after it, that's, as I said, it doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look amazing either. They're all also in-app purchases. I couldn't find out exactly what. That was all very sort of secretive. There's very little information about it. And as I said, it just... I have concerns. If you're going to port something across from mobile, that's fine. One, say it's a mobile port first. Don't force us to figure it out. And two, don't charge us a premium for a mobile port just because you put it on the PC. Anyway, so yes. Anyway, if you do want to pick this one up, so you're looking at picking this one up for it's about $25 or your regional equivalent, available now on Steam or on mobile, iOS and Android. Now, sticking with soccer, but moving into something a more established franchise that's definitely for PC and consoles. We've moved into EA Games and their release of FIFA 20. So, this is the 27th installment of the FIFA series from EA Games. And quite frankly, I have to admit that this actually looks to be the most spectacular one ever. I have my concerns, I'll get to those in a moment, but I have to say at the same time, I think they've done really well on a lot of things. Okay, so I'm going to start with what are my concerns about it. My concerns about it is that it seems to be very much a pay to win. Why do I say that? So there are three versions of this game that you can get. So you can get Standard, Champions, or Ultimate Edition. All include the base game, which looks pretty good. It's got a full campaign mode. It's got single player. It's got campaign mode, free play mode, sort of instant match, and the Volta, which we'll get to, which is one of the things I'm really excited about. We'll get to in a minute. But then you've also got these various different, gold packs, icon player stuff, and it's like, but you only get them for like, okay, so here, look at the Ultimate Edition, for example. You get a lone icon player. You get to choose one of 5 lone icon items for 5 matches. So you're not even getting access to it all the time. Like this is a pay to win in the multiplayer environment, in the weekly challenges stuff, and that I have a problem. And then if you want more, you have to buy more. You buy them using like their in-game currency, and then they have like these rare gold packs where they give you like bonus stats and bonus players and stuff, and they're all sort of chance stuff. So I've got problems with it in that way. The Champions Edition, you get Lair, you only get 10 of the rare gold packs instead of 20. You get 1 a week for 10 weeks instead of 2 per week for 10 weeks. You get to choose 1 of 5 mid-version icon items for the FU2 matches, but you don't get the loan or the ultimate players and stuff like that. And then Standard Edition includes none of that. It's just the base game. So that's my concern. Now, so that's pretty much my only concern about it. Otherwise, now onto the really cool stuff that I really like about this. Okay, so the first thing that I want to say that's really awesome, and I'm really happy, I'm really excited that EA actually did this, is for the first time in the franchise, they've actually brought in women's football. Now that's a huge deal, especially so. For those who may not know, my background is I actually used to referee for Soccer Australia at the level just below the Premier League here, they're called the A League here in Australia. I refereed the level just below that, and I refereed for the women's football. And one of the struggles that we always had as officials was trying to get officials for those matches, and it was great seeing actually sort of, and sometimes just getting support out for the women's football matches, because then quite frankly I think they're better players than the men, to be honest. But there are some slight rule differences with women's football, and as I said, it's really cool that EA's actually stepped up to the plate and actually modelled and actually sort of modelled a lot of the major women's leagues, and female players are actually modelled, brought into this one, and actually licensed, which is really, really cool to see. I'm so happy that they've done that. So that's just awesome. It's about bloody time. So, it's a bit overdue. But yeah, I'm really, really happy that they brought it. The other thing I'm really excited about is Volta football, which looks really cool. So this is basically street football. So you know how you see a lot of movies, especially movies set in South America. You'll see kids and teenagers, whatever, playing football in the streets. This is what this goes to model. It's got a huge set of its own custom dynamics have gone through here, and it's all because this is all using the Frostbite engine as well. So they've got a huge big change on how FIFA's model. So doing this all the Frostbite engine, the physics that they modeled for this one just looks absolutely amazing. So it uses a different size ball, which gives you a lot more options and a lot more modeling. And they've actually done a lot more modeling on actual how the human body works, and that's just so cool, so exciting, looks awesome. Beyond that, the normal FIFA one does include the whole thing as well. So it's the whole kit, caboodle, box and dice. So you get everything from So you've got your sort of, again, as I said, you've got your instant play, you've got your full club management, full in-depth, including media management now as well. And as I said, they've actually modelled and actually done female football in here as well. So I have to say, overall, it's looking pretty awesome. I have to say that, if I was into this, I probably would be, because this would be the one to get because it looks awesome. But as I said before, sports games just really aren't my thing. As excited as I am about this, just not my thing. Anyway, so if you all want to pick this one up, so this one's starting at about $69 for the base edition and going up to about 120 for the Ultimate Edition, available now on all the major platforms, as I said, on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4, available now. Alright, continuing on with some more traditional simulation news now. The guys over at Train Simulator saw a few releases this week. First one we saw was a release of a new locomotive set, the SZ Series 363 locomotive. So this is a very interesting sort of train sort of built for Slovenian railways. It was a design derived from a French train, but then actually modified with some Italian components and Italian engines. So it's really interesting. This one has actually come through as an electric-powered locomotive that was designed for both passenger and freight usage, with a nearly 4,000 horsepower electric motor with capable of 125 kilometers an hour. It's a very iconic and powerful locomotive that could be seen on many of the railways throughout Slovakia and throughout much of the Eastern Europe. Now, along with the train, the highly detailed electric locomotive with its authentic driving controls, accurately modelled startup procedure and shunting motor simulation, as well as its circuitry modelling, as well as it also includes basic and advanced FIFA implementation and classic PCB implementation as well. Includes 3 career scenarios for this one. However, if you do want to use the career scenarios, you do have to have the Sudbahn Brück on die Maribor route. Oh, that's a mouthful and a half. As a separate purchase, if you do want to be able to play the career scenarios. Otherwise, it is still fully quick drive compatible, compatible Steam Workshop scenarios as well. So this one's coming in pretty standard price, $20 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. And the other releases for Train Simulator this week, we saw a couple of scenery or sort of route add-on releases. The first one's being a East Midlands Coal Sherwood to High Marnham route. So this one is a sort of a classic of British rail and coal industry sort of modelling. Because, let's be honest, a lot of the early trains were coal powers. The coal industry and railways in the UK kind of have a lot of stuff going on with that one. So a lot of the railways will actually sort of be there to service the ports and service the coal, so sort of connect the coal mines to the actual coal power plants and power stations, because of course the easiest way to deliver all the coal. So this one is designed to implement one of those sort of said routes, and actually comes with a whole stack of stuff in here as well. Now models some really interesting sort of unique features of this area in this particular route, including the implementation of a merry-go-round system to allow trains to actually deposit coal while on the move, and then loop around to then head straight away to pick up more. So it's kind of cool, kind of interesting way they modeled this one. Now, what does this include? This includes a 25-mile route from Sherwood to High Marnham. Includes 6 collieries, so Sherwood, Shirebrook, Clipstone, Wassop, Thorsby and Ollerton, and then a variety of other locations including Shirebrook TMD, Mansfield Concentration Sidings, and High Marnham Power Station. Now, along with that, you also get the implementation of the British Rail Class 56 diesel locomotive in a variety of different liveries, and a Sentinel Class diesel shunter in the CB's blue livery as well. There's a variety of different stuff here, including 9 career scenarios. Now, if you do want to be able to make full use of this, though, it is also highly recommended that you get the British Rail Class 20 and Class 31 and European Local Assets Pack to be able to make full use of this system, of this setup as well. So yeah, if you want to expand your coal carrying adventures in Train Simulator, you're looking at $40 or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. In the other release for the sort of route release this week, we saw the release of the Union Pacific Wasatch Grade Ogden to Evanston route add-on. Now, this is an interesting, as in, kind of kind of correlated as well. So this is one that's set during the 1950s when there was this transition, this shift happening between steam-powered locomotives and diesel-powered locomotives on these long routes. So it's really interesting actually going through here. And over 76 miles of route are actually modelled with this one, with some beautiful mountain scenery, sort of mountain and desert scenery through here to actually go through and explore. You also get a variety of locomotives as well, which is really interesting with this pack. So actually, this pack is probably one of the biggest, best value packs I've seen for a long time too. So this one you get, as I said, over 76 route miles going through the Wasatch Mountains, Wasatch Mountains, I think. Set during the 1950s. You also get the Union Pacific 4884 Big Boy steam locomotive and the 4664 Challenger steam locomotive. But then you also get the Union Pacific EMD and Union Pacific and Southern Pacific EMD F7 diesel train cab and boosted diesels. As well as 9 types of authentic freight rolling stock and a variety of train yards and engine facilities all included, as well as 8 career scenarios. So there's a lot going on in this pack, and this is one of those packs that actually doesn't require any additional stuff. Like, everything is bundled with this and this all. And this was coming in, same price, coming in at $40 US, or your original equivalent, available now on Steam. Alright, moving out of the permanent way and moving into the dirt with Dirt Rally 2.0, releasing 2 more vehicles this week. So they're in their add-on vehicle range. So the first one that we saw recently was the Seat Ibiza kit car, which is a design basing from the which is brought around in 1996, which is a update of the highly successful vehicle, sort of, again, but sort of just a slight modification of their it's just an interesting little kit car. I was going to say talk stuff about it, but I actually don't know anything about it, because it's a kit car. It doesn't really have it's its own car. Like, that's weird. I didn't think you could actually get kit cars. That's kind of cool. Kind of weird, kind of cool. The other one that was released this week was the more traditional Peugeot 306 Maxi, which was introduced in 1995 and continuing on was a common sight during the French rally scene through the 1990s and early 2000s. Both these vehicles are coming in at $2 US, or your original equivalent, available from Steam or on your platform of choice, Xbox or PlayStation 4, available now. And with that, folks, that now rounds out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these videos and want to see more. And, of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. All right, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.